Dear friend, you asked me, Jack, why are so many people poor? It's a question I've heard hundreds of times in my life. People ask me this because they think maybe I have the answer. They think because I became successful, I know some secret. But honestly, the answer is not complicated. The problem is not that people are born poor. The problem is that many people choose to stay poor by the way they think, the way they act, and the way they react to the world. Let me tell you something I've learned. Poverty is not only a financial problem, it's a mindset problem. When I was young, I failed many times. I applied for jobs, I think more than 30, and got rejected. KFC came to my city. 24 people applied, 23 got the job. I was the only one rejected. Police department, same thing. Even Harvard rejected me 10 times. But you know what? I never said the world is unfair. I said, maybe I should learn something from this. That's how rich people think, not in money, but in attitude. Most poor people, when they meet a problem, the first thing they say is, this is not possible, or it's too hard, or let me wait and see what happens. Waiting is the biggest disease in the world. Poor people are always waiting for the right time, the right idea, the right person, the right opportunity. But life never waits for you. Success never waits for you. Many people stay poor because they are very good at making excuses. I call it the but habit. You tell them, hey, this business can make you some extra income. They say, yes, but I don't have the time. You tell them, try to learn something new. They say, yes, but I'm too old. You say, why not invest a little? They say, yes, but I'm afraid to lose. So in the end, they lose anyway. Not money, but the chance to grow. When I was starting Alibaba, people laughed at me. They said, Jack, e-commerce in China? Are you crazy? People in China don't even have credit cards. They said, this will never work. But I believed one thing. If you don't try, you will never know. And if you try and fail, at least you learn something. The poor person's mind says, if I fail, I lose. The rich person's mind says, if I fail, I learn. That's the difference. Sometimes people ask me, Jack, what's your secret to success? I say, I don't have a secret. I just never gave up. The poor man gives up too soon. The rich man keeps walking even when he cannot see the road clearly. You see, poor people hate losing. They hate risk. When I started Alibaba, I didn't have much money, but I had courage. My friends and I started in my apartment. We had 18 people, all with small salaries. We didn't even have air conditioning, but we had belief. We believed we could make something that would change the world. Poor people think risk is dangerous, but I say not taking a risk is the biggest risk. The world changes every day. If you stand still, you are moving backward. You can never win by being afraid. When you fear losing, you already lost. When you try new things, you don't lose. You just get closer to the truth. If you want to be rich, learn how to be comfortable with discomfort. Learn to do things that others are afraid to do. That's how the world rewards courage. Poor people love comfort too much. They want an easy life, a soft bed, a safe job, a weekend with TV and food. They want success without effort, money without risk, and progress without pain. My friend, life doesn't work that way. When I was building Alibaba, every day was painful. Every day people told me, Jack, give up. My employees were tired. My family didn't understand me. My investors rejected me, but I kept going. Why? Because I understood that success is never comfortable. If you feel comfortable every day, you are not growing. The poor man asks, how can I be happy now? The rich man asks, what can I build now that will make me happy tomorrow? That's the difference. Another big reason many people stay poor is because they like to blame others. They blame the government, the company, the boss, their parents, their country, their education, their luck. Everyone except themselves. If you keep blaming others, you give away your power. You become a victim of your own story. When I failed the university entrance exam 2 times, I didn't blame the system. I said, maybe I should study differently. When I couldn't get a job, I didn't blame the companies. I said, maybe I need to improve myself. Poor people spend energy complaining. Rich people spend energy creating. If you are always angry at others, you will never have time to build something for yourself. Let me tell you something funny. Poor people love free advice. They read many books, watch motivational videos, attend free seminars, but they never apply what they learn. They want to know everything before they act. But knowledge is useless without action. In my company, I tell young people, you don't need to be smart, you just need to be fast. Learn fast, act fast, fail fast, and grow fast. That's the new world. Poor people want to think for 10 years before doing something. Rich people think for 10 minutes and then start doing. The more you delay, the smaller your chance becomes. Now you ask me, Jack, if people know all this, why don't they change? This is the most painful truth. People don't change because they don't want to take responsibility for their lives. They want someone to rescue them, the government, their boss, their family, their luck. But nobody can change your life except you. Even after I give this talk, maybe 10 people will clap, maybe 5 will feel inspired, maybe 2 will take action, and maybe 1 will succeed. That's life. You can show people the door, but they must walk through it themselves. Most people are scared of walking through the unknown. They say, let me think about it, and then they never think again. You can motivate someone for 1 hour, but if they go home and do nothing, nothing changes. I've seen thousands of people attend motivational talks, clap their hands, take pictures, post on social media, but 1 week later, they go back to the same habits. That's why I say motivation is temporary, discipline is permanent. So why do a few people succeed? Because they take action. They stop complaining, they stop waiting, they stop fearing, they start doing. When you make a decision to start, you already separate yourself from 90% of the crowd. When you continue after failing, you separate yourself from another 9%. And when you keep improving, learning, and growing, you become the 1% that others call lucky. But luck has nothing to do with it. It's simply consistent effort. I always tell young people, don't try to be the best. Try to be the first. Be the first to act, the first to learn, the first to try something new. That's how history is made. The world does not reward those who wait. It rewards those who create. If you are poor today, that's okay. It's not your fault. But if you are still poor 5 years from now and you did nothing, that's your fault. Don't envy successful people. Learn from them. Don't hate the rich. Study what they do differently. Start small, sell something, learn a skill, read good books, help people, build habits, wake up early, work hard, save money, take risks. Don't waste time complaining. Every little effort counts. When you think big and act small every day, one day you will wake up and realize you are not the same person. You will see progress. And that feeling of seeing your own growth is better than money. People think success is about luck, talent, or timing. No, success is about attitude. I know many talented people who are poor because they never act. I know many average people who became rich because they kept going. When I started, I knew nothing about technology. I was an English teacher. I didn't know how to code. I didn't understand e-commerce. But I was willing to learn. I surrounded myself with people smarter than me. I listened, I worked, I believed. That's how success works. Not by knowing everything, but by believing you can learn anything. Let me end this with something simple, my friend. The world is not fair. But that's good news, because if the world were fair, you and I might never have a chance to rise. If the world gave everyone equal conditions, the clever people, the rich families, and the powerful ones would still win easily. But because the world is unfair, people like you and me, who start with nothing, have a chance to fight, to learn, to prove ourselves. When life is unfair, it gives you a chance to show your strength. When people doubt you, it gives you a chance to prove your belief. When things get hard, it gives you a chance to grow your courage. I often tell people, don't complain that life is unfair. Use it as fuel. If you fail, it means you have something to learn. If people reject you, it means you must improve. Every unfair thing that happens to you is a training exercise for your character. Let me tell you a funny story from my early days. When Alibaba was still very small, I wanted to impress a group of foreign investors who came to Hangzhou. I didn't have much money, but I wanted to show them we were professional. So, I booked a small restaurant, not expensive, but I told the owner to decorate it nicely. The problem was we couldn't afford the fancy dishes they wanted, so we asked the chef to make everything look fancy. We told him, put a little green leaf here, a little sauce there, make it look like Western food. When the investors came, one of them asked for steak. We didn't have steak, so the chef served him something that looked like steak. It was actually fried tofu with dark sauce. The man said, interesting texture. I said, yes, it's Chinese beef. Everyone laughed, but inside I was sweating like crazy. After the dinner, one of the investors told me, Jack, we like you. You have no resources, no money, but you have courage and humor. They didn't invest, but they gave me something better. They gave me confidence. That day I learned that being poor is not shameful, but being hopeless is. If you can laugh at your problems, you already have power over them. The poor man complains about the table being small. The rich man uses that small table to serve the biggest dream. That's why I say poor people wait for fairness. Rich people create their own opportunities. Fairness is not something you wait for. It's something you build. So, my friend, don't wait for someone to change your life. Don't wait for a better time, a better leader, or a better country. Don't wait for the government or your boss or your luck. Start now with what you have, where you are, even if what you have looks like tofu steak. Success doesn't come to the smartest or the strongest. It comes to the ones who never stop trying, even when they look ridiculous. You will fail. People will laugh. Your plans will fall apart. That's normal. But if you keep going, one day people will say, you were lucky. And you can smile and say, no, I was just foolish enough not to give up. Even if only one person who reads this decides to act, I'll be happy, because the truth is not everyone will change. Some will laugh, some will agree, some will forget. But the one who acts, that person will change their life forever. So I leave you with this. Never give up. Keep believing. Work hard. Be kind. Stay foolish. Because the world doesn't need more rich people. It needs more people who refuse to stay poor in their mind and in their heart. Thank you.